816-5555. Jacksonville.
Trevor fires for the back of the end zone, and that ball is going to be caught for the touchdown by Brian Thomas Jr. What a throw and catch. He tiptoed along the end line. Touchdown, Jacksonville. Fires deep downfield. Got a man. That's Brian Thomas Jr. 50 in the Colts territory. 35, 30, 25, 10, 5. Touchdown, Brian Thomas Jr. Just went 85 yards.
He's a playmaker. That's what stands out to me. It's just not one thing. We all know he's fast. You know, I can't really point to his releases. I can't really point to how he comes out of his routes. He just makes plays.
Looking, steps up, fires to the back of the end zone. Brian Thomas Jr. Did he double catch it? Yes, it is. Touchdown. He bobbled it, but hung on. Brian Thomas Jr. has the score, and Jacksonville is taking the lead.
Yeah, he's only going to get better once he masters his craft as far as his stance off the line, as far as come off the ball. You'll see in games to come, he'll get better, and even next year, he's going to be that much better than he is right now. Right now, he's just getting his feet wet and showing us what he can do. So I'm looking for this guy to be a big-time playmaker for us in the years to come, and I'm glad to have him part of the Jaguars.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome into this Tuesday. Yes, it is April Fool's. I think this will be an April Fool's free edition of Jaguars Today. Tony, anything up your sleeve today?
No.
Me either. I've never really been into it. You know, as a kid, I think I replaced like salt with sugar or vice versa, and somebody in my family was not too happy about it, and that was probably the end of my April Fool's pranks days. Tiger Woods tweeting out how this morning after tearing his Achilles just recently, hey, after explosive workouts, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm on board for the Masters coming up here. And, of course, Jason Whitlock bit that thing hook, line, and sinker to the point where Tiger actually, like an hour later, goes, oh, it's only April Fool's. Dude, if you're going to do an April Fool's, just let it be. You know, let it be its own thing. I don't think you need to apologize for it a little bit later on. Of course, the greatest April Fool's prank in the history of sports is the Sports Illustrated Sid Finch article that gets mentioned this time every year. If you haven't read it, Sid Finch, Siddhartha Finch, S-I-D-D, Finch. Dylan, we probably asked you this last year. You know who Sid Finch is?
No, sir.
Look him up.
All right.
It's worth the read.
It is.
It really is. I mean, obviously, you know, it's an April Fool's joke in this context, but he was a Mets phenom who pitched with one boot on and one bare foot, and he could he hit, like 130 or something on the gun?
Absurd.
Something crazy. The Sports Illustrated did a whole write-up on this guy in an issue that came out on April 1st back in the early 80s, and the first letter of each word in the opening paragraph spelled out Happy April Fool's Day. Yeah, and people were like, oh, my God, how have I never heard of this guy?
That was fast as 168 miles per hour.
Was it 168? Okay, there you go. I knew it was something absurd, you know, eye-popping.
After he dropped out of Harvard.
I heard a guy, some pitcher recently threw like 6 pitches in a row over 100 miles an hour. Is that commonplace these days? You watch more baseball than I do, Tony. That seems like, I mean, back in the day, Nolan Ryan had the record in the Guinness Book at 100.9 for years. Yeah. I don't know if the radar guns are better, if people are just bigger, faster, stronger, but that seems like an awful lot. I think the Major League record is something like 104, 105 now, which is insane.
105.8. I just looked it up.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I mean, high school kids are throwing low 90s, so that doesn't really surprise me.
Aroldis Chapman in 2010 with the Reds.
105.8.
Through 105.8.
Insanity. Anyway, welcome into Jaguars Today. We will talk no more baseball today, and much to Tony's delight on that front. I do believe no fooling. I think Tony's had enough of the baseball season, at least for the first 5 games. All right, so today we will talk about, speaking of 5, the 5th pick in the draft and your top 5 options for that. The latest from the owners' meetings as well. Tone, forever, if you went to overtime, what do you want to do? You want to win the coin toss, right?
First team to score wins.
First team to score wins. Or even if you score, if the other team gets a possession, it's because you could end it with a touchdown, right? So you had more control over it. Now the NFL has changed the rule for overtime, which will be great for any overtime games the Jags play because we love sticking around an extra hour or so on game day. But nevertheless, now every team is guaranteed a possession in overtime. So the only caveat is overtime in the regular season remains 10 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, so you could conceivably have a team eat up 8.5 minutes, and you only have 90 seconds to answer. 90 seconds in today's NFL. I think I want the ball second. I think I want to know what the goal is. If you scored and got the extra point, because you're probably not going for two, because I could beat you with an extra point.
Yeah.
Then I know what I've got to do, and I can go for it on every fourth down, unlike you who might have to play field position. Like if you go a quick 3 and out, you're not going for it from your own 30-yard line, 35-yard line. I think I want the advantage of having the ball second and knowing what I got to do.
Yeah, probably. That seems to be the way the tide is turning in the postseason when these teams get in these situations, which they're adopting the postseason rule on a 10-minute clock instead of the 15-minute clock that in the postseason they have. It's overtime for me has always been kind of a funny thing. I'd be fine if games ended in a tie if it was just a tie. Like that never bothered me. If a regular season football game ended after 60 minutes tied, I'd be like, all right, they played to a tie. Right? Like that day they played to a tie. That's okay. Like that never bothered me. I can understand some people that just they can't handle that being part of it. Donovan McNabb didn't even know what team scored when and when it ended. When he was playing overtime that year with Philadelphia, he didn't know that it could end in a tie in overtime. Like those kinds of things. But I would be fine if they had no overtime in the NFL. But if they're going to have it, I personally would prefer if they just said, because the drama in a football game to me is the clock. That's the drama. So if you're going to play an extra period of time, I think you have to have the clock be the drama as to who's going to win or lose, which is why it should at least guarantee both teams a possession. Makes all kind of sense. For me, I know why they're not going to do it because they don't want to expose the players to the injuries, and that's fine. But if they just said we're playing another 15-minute period regardless, whatever whoever's winning at the end of the 15 minutes would be the winner of the game. If they were going to do it that way, that would be my preference for how they would do it. I don't know that they'll ever get to that point with it because they don't want to expose players to more than they already do, which is why if they're going to do that, I'd be fine with tie. Like, I would have no issue with that. But if you're going to play more, then add the most dramatic piece to an end of football game situation. Let that continue to be part of the drama in overtime. They don't want it that way, but I'm with you. If they're going to put this new rule in, which they are, yes, I would want the ball second.
Yeah, I think so, right? And again, granted, you have some control over whether someone drives it down your throat and scores a touchdown after 8.5 minutes, So how many overtime games do you think there were last year in the National Football League?
20.
16.
Yeah.
That's good. So 16 games. We're talking about, if you added 5 minutes a game, we're talking about a total of just over an hour 20, I think that comes out to, right? Is that big of a deal? And that's only if they make it into that range, right? Did we have any ties? Now, probably didn't have ties because the team scoring a touchdown first game ended. And that was the ball game. And I understand that can happen and that wouldn't happen now. And this will probably make you play more overtime minutes than the past. I just don't know if I'm going to get that worked up over 16 occurrences of potentially 5 more minutes of play.
Sure.
Potentially 5 more minutes of play. But whatever. These one of the things are one of the rules changes that they've adopted so far at the owners' meetings down there. No final word on the tush push as of yet. So we'll see how that all plays out along with other proposals that have been put out there. Let's see what Dylan Denmark just shared with me right now. The NFL's onside kick amendment will be adjusted and voted on later in May. Touchbacks on kickoffs now start at the 35-yard line. That's coming out just moments ago from Diana Rossini. So that will probably result in more kickoff returns. Mm-hmm. And I think what they're arguing is now, on an average basis, the kickoff returns that they had last year were no more dangerous than a typical play. Like, there wasn't this spike. Like, obviously, there are fewer kickoff returns than there are total plays.
The thing they were trying to limit was limited by the play.
We'll see if that was a one-year blip, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because this is absolutely going to bring more kickoffs to the fore. If you know that you're giving the ball to the opponent at their 35-yard line, I definitely think everyone's going to be angling to kick it between the 10 and the goal line. I think that's
return it,
the landing range right now. So I don't understand why either leave the onside kick alone or radically change it at this stage, right? It's almost impossible to convert. I don't know what the point of it is at this point anymore.
Yeah.
Make it a 4th and 15 play. Are you kidding me? Your team's down. Hey, we're going to get the ball back. One play. Convert 15 yards. Now, I get the whole, we got a defensive holding 5-yard penalty, automatic first down. And that is an issue. And they turned that down at the owners' meetings. Detroit, I think, is the one that had the proposal to eliminate the automatic first down that comes along with that. So there are multiple angles to all these things, but the onside kick now is so fruitless. It's ridiculous, although I think they're going to allow teams to actually attempt them when, what was it, before you could only attempt them when you were trailing?
Trailing in the fourth quarter.
In the fourth quarter, right? I mean, what's the point?
Yeah, it came into play not at all last season until the Super Bowl, right? Kansas City scored there in the third quarter, and the game was
down
at a
so
point,
big, and they had to kick off.
but the rules said they couldn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Seems a little silly. But anyway, today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day brings us to our Tuesday top 5. This one, I'm pleasantly surprised by how many responses we've gotten, how detailed they are already. Because you can take this as detailed as you want it to be today as we ask you, what are your top 5 options for the Jaguars with the 5th pick? That doesn't mean strictly just give us a list of 5 players. If you read on, assume Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter would each require a trade up. And then I added a response to that, basically giving you an example. You might say, hey, one, my top option, trade up for Travis Hunter. My second option, just stick and pick Mason Graham. My third option, trade back. And you can make that as complicated as you want. I actually went through on the trade back because everyone's going to have trade back as an option. It's just where you rank it. I went and found a couple of actual trades that would work according to the chart that I like, that I think would be good for Jacksonville. You don't have to take it to that degree. Option 4, draft Armand Membu. Option 5, trade up for Abdul Carter. For instance, you can make it as specific or as general as you like. Just give us your responses today, either on the phone lines at 641-1010. Same number for the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. You can pop in the YouTube virtual studio chat and list your thoughts there, or on social media where we get the most feedback, along with the text line at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, and at 1010XL Denmark.
Duval.
Another track meet today, right? Denmark?
Yeah, but I gotta run at some point today. We got a coach's relay, so I just hope my quads don't both pull at the same time and I face plant in the middle of the 100 meters.
Have you trained for this at all?
No, I found out yesterday at practice. So
excellent.
No training.
So it's what is it? A 4x100, a 4x400?
No, 4x1.
4x1. All right. So you just got to run 100 meters without pulling a muscle.
Yeah, I haven't ran track in 9 years. The last time I ran was.
Yeah, but you're 27.
Yeah, I'm not. It's not that bad.
You're 27 and you're in good shape. I think you're in good shape. So when I was 27, man, if I couldn't just roll out of bed and run a mile, it's only 100 meters, so you'll be all right. All right, so you got the basics today. We'll keep our eyes on more rules proposals being passed or denied at the owners' meetings and anything Jacksonville Jaguar related coming out of there. We've got more from Liam Cohen today, Jaguars head coach who spoke yesterday at the meetings. We did not have nearly enough time to get to everything he said, so we'll get into some of that and the discussion that follows. But your Tuesday top 5, looking for your top 5 options for the Jags with the 5th pick. Could include trading up for specific players, trading up in general, trading back in general. Could be a wish list of 5 guys. Just know if Abdul Carter and Hunter are on your list, for our purposes, you have to propose that you're trading up to get them, right? Because this is presuming that neither one of them is going to be available at number 5 unless you act somehow proactively to go up there and grab them. So we're ready to roll with Tony Smith and Dylan Denmark. I'm Mike Dempsey. It's Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
You ever have that feeling
1010XL.
where you're not sure if you're awake or still dreaming?
All the time.
1010XL.
I thought it wasn't real.
Your mind makes it real.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and there's so many cool products that are on the line at Cycles of Jacksonville. Showroom is Atlantic and Regency, and we're talking, Greg, you've got from any level of price point, the experienced rider to the inexperienced on-road, off-road.
We've got it. We've got ATVs, we've got motorcycles, we've got scooters, we even have the new Honda boats. We've got something for everyone.
Don't forget about the boat line from Honda. It's all right there, waiting for you. Atlantic and Regency or Cycles of Jacksonville's Facebook page.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative, here to share with you an actual client review.
Dude, these shirts are sick.
Check out the shirts and other sick promo items at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
If you're heading to the Og or you're already part of the nation's oldest, don't forget to drop into Sunset Grill. For over 30 years, serving up great chowder, seafood, wings, and cold beer. Sunset Grill, somewhere on A1A, St. Augustine Beach.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web. Precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
Fish know where to hide. Captain Kevin knows how to find them.
That's a big one.
Listen for the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show, brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss and Royal Pest Services.
Thursday nights at 6.
On 1010XL AM.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold, hard cash, so you can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, often no appraisals. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day, so act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com or 904-999-1508. Get the money you need for anything at 904-999-1508 or just go to LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
This is the Mangler. Years of playing football coupled with lifestyle left my feet mangled with neuropathy. I was experiencing burning, tingling, and numbness. I spoke with 2 foot specialists and they told me there was no cure. They were wrong. I found Dr. Nate Riddle in Ponte Vedra. After utilizing his neuropathy treatment for only 2 weeks, I noticed a difference in my feet. I was regaining my feeling and balance. If you want relief from nerve pain, call Dr. Nate for a free consultation at Riddle Wellness, 904-395-5598.
With so many competitive pest services in town, you might wonder why Kingfish Pest Control's business is booming while similar companies seem to be struggling. It all comes down to service, affordability, and effectiveness. Kingfish Pest Control is a local family-owned company who delivers on their promises to effectively control pests like ants, spiders, roaches, termites, mosquitoes, and more. Your home is their priority, so call today and discover why your neighbors and your buddy Hayes Carlion trust Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jaguars.
Pick it here for Bow 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bow 9. Visit Bow 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bow 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, happy April 1st. Keep your April Fools to yourself, please. I'll mention, years ago, I did just drop, this is back at not across the street, this is back on another network, Tony. I did drop Donovan Darius signed a contract. I was just like, oh, look at this. Donovan Darius signed a new contract with the Jags. I just didn't play it up, just dropped it in there. And people were quite upset with me, as a matter of fact. At least the next day they were, as they were scrambling to find the source for that reporting. Hey, it's April Fool's, man. But we've very much walked around that over the years. So anyway, let's get to it at 641-1010. You want to weigh in, talk a little Jaguar football? We'll hear from Liam Cohen coming up on a number of things, including what he's learned from Sean McVay and how he's putting that to use and putting together his own coaching staff, how he is luring these guys from good organizations to come join him. What's the selling point? What's the pitch, the message that people are buying into? So all that coming up and more, including the Tuesday top five. We got our man Philip in Arlington going to kick things off with us today on Jaguars Today. Good morning, Philip. How are you?
Hey, top of the morning, boys. Yeah, I'm like Tony. I watched baseball when I was a kid, but I hadn't paid attention to it in a long while. I remember as a kid putting a microphone up to the TV when Hank Aaron hit the home run to smash Babe Ruth's record. So getting kind of old. Yeah.
Do you still have the audio recording of that? Would you have a reel-to-reel tape or something?
No, it was on a cassette. No, man, I lost that a long time ago. I have no idea where it was. But
all right.
Yeah, I'll be 64 in 10 days, man, so I'm getting old. But
well, happy birthday.
I want to talk about Liam Cohen. I know isn't his success and what they've been doing so far, it's just mere speculation by everybody. Do we really know what we're going to get, man? He could be the best coach in the world or be a colossal failure, but anything is better than last year. That's still got a bad taste in our mouth. And one other thing, when those Texans come to town, Jaguar fans, the heck with this Southern hospitality. Don't get thrown out, but we need to show the Texans we can't stand them. Like I said, I'm off all this week. Have a birthday in 10 days. I got a 12-pack of Heineken in the fridge. So you guys be entertaining for the next 2 hours, or I'm going to have to put on Dark Side of the Moon again for the 10,000th time.
That's a good one, though. That's a good one, Philip. That's a good one. Just sync it up with Wizard of Oz so the legend goes. I don't know. That's a lot of pressure. I'll guarantee right now I'm not going to be more entertaining than Dark Side of the Moon. Dark Side of the Moon had pretty good staying power. I don't know if today's episode of Jaguars Today is going to quite have that.
Yeah.
Over the years.
There's some you just go back to, right? Like I listened to the whole Wall this weekend. Like I listened to the whole album just sitting around. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with any Pink Floyd in my book. But I think that you have a better chance of finding that Hank Aaron cassette tape than you do of finding a cassette tape of this show 50 years down the road.
Correct.
Or however, that's a roughly 50 years, 52-ish, something like that for Hank Aaron. What was it, April of 74 he broke? I think they were tied at the end of the 73 season, right? And I think the Topps card number one that year was Hank with a crown on as the new home run king, anticipating obviously he'd get it. Opening day, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, back in the day, although I'm not that Braves guy. Look, Philip's right, but you want to have optimism because it's different, right? What we had, it was apathetic, or at least it had that effect on a lot of the fan base, Tony. It clearly wasn't bringing out the best in these players, in Trevor Lawrence. And oh, by the way, the roster wasn't the best. You've seen the turnover. The Jags, the stories that are gone around, they're I believe the only team that has not re-signed one of their own unrestricted free agents this year. Not anybody, not the lowest level guy that you're like, oh, he's a good special teamer, we'll re-sign him. Anyone who had an option to go somewhere else, they're like, take your services elsewhere.
Yeah.
We're fine with that.
Cole Van Lannon could still leave, but he would be the one that could come
He's
back.
restricted, though.
Yeah.
He's not unrestricted.
Yeah.
So, because they were able to put a tender on him. So, no unrestricted free. Nobody who just is just completely out of their control.
But they didn't even keep any of the other restricted guys, I don't think. Like, he's the only one they made a tender offer to.
Yeah.
I believe. So, there's obviously a lot they felt like they needed to change.
But like, did they sign a restricted free agent somewhere along the way? I don't know. Did they bring anybody back? I can't. Nobody noteworthy if they did that I can remember. Regardless, their roster needed a lot of turnover.
Yes,
and do we know that Liam Cohen's going to be great? Every team, I think, every fan base that gets a new coach anytime. There's a reason you're getting a new coach, unless your historically great coach retired, walked off into the sunset. Generally, it's because things ended up in a bad place, and it was heading in the wrong direction. So newness sparks positivity and hope and optimism and all that stuff. I think Liam Cohen, just listening to people, is a respected offensive mind. Does that mean that he is going to go out there and, turn this team into a playoff team in year one of his regime? I'm hopeful that he does, but I'm not convinced of that. I think the bigger change, and it took longer to get there, is James Gladstone, Tony. I think if you've got the right GM, I think if you don't have the raw material, there's only so much a coach can do. You can get peak performances out of your guys, but if their peaks are lower than the league average or the top of the league, you're never going to be able to overcome the talent disadvantage. You've got to have eyes that know what they're doing when they're selecting players. And from the sound of it, even with Liam Cohen talking yesterday, James Gladstone is really kind of teaching him some of the ins and outs of what they're looking for in scouting. Liam Cohen could say, hey, man, give me a Mike Evans type receiver. Well, who's the guy that projects to be that, right? Or something along those lines. So I think that's the more important part of this whole process. Look, they all work hand in hand to some degree, including Tony Baselli as the executive vice president. And so everything's new. Everybody's on the same page, and all that's wonderful. But if Gladstone fails miserably, and I know they'll say, oh, these are going to be team decisions. Ultimately, he's going to have the biggest sway in stacking that board because that's where he comes from. Tony Baselli watches a lot of football. Is he qualified to stack a 350-person draft board and determine? I don't know. He's going to have his opinions on guys, and he's certainly qualified to weigh in. But if James Gladstone doesn't deliver the right groceries, there's no cooking the 5-star meal.
No, look, we don't know, how any of this stuff is going to work out. But I think, look, people are going to handle that however they want to handle it. I choose to handle it from here's what I hope works out. And I'm not going to assume that it's not going to work out now just because it hasn't necessarily worked out in the past all that often for the team. That's not how I generally view things anyway. Like, I am eternally going to be the glass half full guy, right? And I want to see why the glass is half full as opposed to why is it always empty, right? That's just not how I view virtually anything in the world. I can't stop anyone else from seeing whatever they want to see, however they want to see it. But until I see them fail, I'm not going to assume that they're going to fail. But it doesn't mean that I'm assuming they're not going to fail. It's obviously a possibility, but until they do, when they do it, I'll point to it and say, that's bad.
Right, I don't want to sit here and go, just waiting for the other shoe to drop, waiting for the sky to fall, whatever other
it's just
cliche.
Not my personality.
I'll say this. I give them credit because I don't think they're liars, right? I think they, as James Gladstone made it clear, we had 9 targets in free agency. We signed those 9 guys, right? And then they added Fred Johnson a little bit later on, but those were their initial 9 targets. So is the plan a good one? I don't know. We'll find out, right?
Yeah.
But they have so far executed what their vision is, according to their own words. They say, here's what we wanted to do. We're able to get it done. Now let's see if it was the right plan. Let's see if we made the right decision.
What they've done has not been unclear.
No.
Like, it's been very much, they stated a plan. They seem to be carrying out that plan. Whether or not it's the right plan, no one will know that till we get them on the field.
But, like, if they had gone out and they had the same 9 guys and Jordan Lewis was playing for somebody else and Patrick McCary is playing for somebody else, and you're like, all right, so you got 7 out of 9, and who knows, maybe they would have got some guys to replace them, and we would have convinced ourselves they're going to be just as good or better, but, you would have missed on some of what you're trying to accomplish. Whether the plan is right, only time will tell, but it appears that they have been able to check off the few early boxes along the way, and it's only the beginning here.
Yeah.
The draft is going to be a major part of it, but then installing the offense, and did you get the right kind of guys, and overcoming injuries, and there's so many things, obviously, that go into it. But
doing a quick search, because we talked about it at the beginning of that segment, no, none of the Jaguars' restricted or exclusive rights free agents are back.
Right, because Cole Van Lanen is not back.
Yeah, it's Tim Jones, Deshaun Dixon, Joe Giles-Harris, and Asezi Odomewu.
That's not many, though.
No, it's not. They didn't have a long list, but none of those guys are back.
Didn't Asezi get a contract somewhere?
Somewhere.
I don't know, but
I forget where, but it's not here.
I want to say it was like the Jets or the Giants or the Steelers. I don't know why that sticks in my mind, but I think he did sign. But, wasn't a stellar group, to be sure.
No.
But in the past, it stands out that you're the only team that said, well, we had all these guys coming up. Now, part of it is they signed guys to a bunch of extensions as well, so, they restricted their movement that way.
But generally restricted and especially exclusive rights free agents, they're so easy to hold on to.
Sure.
Right? Like, they're so easy to hold on to. They're cost effective, like with all these different things.
If they're good.
If they're any good. And so the front office is telling you, we want to do something else. Even with those very minor positions at the very bottom end of the roster, we're not interested in even seeing what it looks like in our plan. Good luck to them in their future.
All right. Along the way in executing that plan, you've got to take what you've learned in the past and apply it to the present day, and with a look into the future. And we'll find out what Liam Cohen thinks he did learn from some of his past tenures, including in Los Angeles, and how he's going to apply them here in Jacksonville. We'll hear from the head coach, who spoke extensively yesterday at the owners' meetings. That's coming up on the other side with Tony Smith and Dylan Denmark. I'm Mike Dempsey on Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
For the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL. Dan Hicken.
You ask him, he thinks he's the best in the world. But he's a functioning lunatic.
And Jeff Prosser.
He's a very interesting guy, you'll see.
Sure he is. They are The Drill.
I don't know what to say. I know what to say.
Mornings on 1010XL.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Get it? With the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Are you an experienced chiller technician and looking for a role where your skills are truly valued? It's time to make the move to Local 234, plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. You'll get top pay, comprehensive health and welfare benefits for your family, and a pension that doesn't come out of your pocket. Join the team that's got your back. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to send your resume today.
Equal opportunity employer.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball opens today at the newly renovated VyStar Ballpark. Come early for opening day street carnival and don't miss post-game fireworks. Don't miss Thirsty Thursday and fireworks Friday and Saturday. Baseball all week and weekend. Tickets start at just $5. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable family fun.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Go to the green every Saturday morning.
Happy learned how to putt.
And get golf tips and talk to help make your golf game more fun. on the Edwin Watts Golf Hour, Saturday morning at 10 on 1010XL.
I'm Max Fink, and I'm your Gator Updater. Listen for the Gator Report several times a week on 1010XL.
Freshened up by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators, 1010XL.
Go Gators! Do you know someone looking for a fun and rewarding summer job? Join the YMCA team, gain valuable experience, and make a difference in kids' lives. Turn your passion for this community into a fulfilling career at the First Coast YMCA. Now hiring camp counselors, lifeguards, child care leaders, and membership experience team. Every single person on the dedicated YMCA staff plays a role in making the Y a welcoming and vital resource for our community. Find your career at the Y at fcymca.org.
Equal opportunity employer.
Get in ball! Honey, someone's in our pool.
Oh, refreshing.
John, what are you doing?
Oh, hey, Dave. Seeing as how me and the guys at Clearwater Irrigation reinstalled your sprinklers after the pool contractor ripped it out, I thought you wouldn't mind if I took a quick dip.
But in a Jaguar print Speedo?
Yeah, Dave. My bad.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage, too.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, you have told us about buying better quality diamonds, but is there any way to start with a smaller diamond and use it to trade up to a larger diamond later on?
Frank, it's interesting you'd ask that because our founder, H.F. Underwood, popularized growing your diamond here in Jacksonville about 50 years ago, and it's something we still do today. When a customer buys an Underwood engagement ring or solitaire diamond pendant or a pair of ear studs, we guarantee they get the price they paid for it on the purchase of any larger diamond. Now, a lot of stores would say, big deal. We do that too, but here's the Underwood difference. We guarantee you get what you paid when you trade in your Underwood diamond, even if you're trading up by only $1. It's not that you have to trade up 2 for 1 like most jewelers ask. There have been literally thousands of people in the Jacksonville area who have taken advantage of our policy, and Underwood still grows a lot of diamonds for a lot of people.
Underwood's, serving excellence since 1928. In San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
You'll always feel good when you send someone a Kuhn Flowers floral or plant arrangement. This is JJ with 1010XL, and no matter what the reason, Kuhn Flowers has always come through for me. Order online at kuhnflowers.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, more Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
We've got Mike DeRocco joining us in the studio this Thursday. Tony from ESPN's Jaguars coverage. And D-Rock contributed to their piece today looking at draft needs, depth chart holes, prospect fits, all that stuff over at ESPN for every team. Top 3 needs. And I think we're all around the same area on this, right? Although you probably put wide receiver right near the top, I think.
Yeah.
Right? D-Rock goes cornerback.
Okay.
Defensive tackle, safety. Like, I get the corner thing, but I feel better about the corner position now. Like, at the very least, Jarian Jones could play on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that situation. Like, I have more confidence in the top 3 corners than I do in the top 2 wide receivers.
Sure.
So I'd agree with you on that. You put defensive tackle and safety, and it was like, look, they got starters with safety. They're not long-term answers there, regardless. So you can go read that piece over to ESPN.com. Prospect to fill a need outside of round 1. This is done by Jordan Reed, right?
Mm-hmm.
As he goes through, assesses what the writers say about the team's needs. Noel Williams, the corner out of Cal, right? He's the guy whose name I know because of our mock drafts that we do.
Yeah.
And he's typically available like in the 4th round, which is right where Pro Football Focus ranks him, pick 125. He's a kind of a 4th rounder, but a 6'1", press man corner. Big guy, lengthy. You know, you want that length on the outside. But I do hope, and I'm not going to be mad. I'm just saying, like, we all have our plot of that second and third round draft capital is spent on big guys. I hope the fifth pick is spent on a big guy, unless it's a guy like Travis Hunter, right? Which I think is unlikely, but outside of that, defensive tackle, offensive line,
front seven, front five,
edge rush. Yeah. I'm down with all that at that position, with the possible exception being Ashton Genty. Like, wouldn't be number one on my wish list, but I could work with it. But I do think there are some good corners later on in this draft that you might be able to find. And again, you don't have to have a top of the depth chart guy. You're paying Tyson Campbell to be that. You're paying Jordan Lewis top nickel money in the National Football League. You got to have a guy who can come in and compete with last year's third-round pick and push each other to get better at that spot. And then when you go to dime, you get all those guys on the field. And, we'll see how it all plays out. Let's hear from Liam Cohen as he spoke yesterday. We didn't get to everything he had to say, so we set this up. He was asked about learning from Sean McVay, and not only, learning from him about coaching, but building a coaching staff. What kind of tips did he pick up from a guy who, when he took over, was the youngest coach in the National Football League in a long, long time? So what did he learn about staff building from McVay?
When I walked into that building in 2018, I had never felt anything like that before. Just the continuity, the positivity, the true, man, hey, how are you? It actually really meant something. I just felt like he stepped in that building, was truly himself every single day. That was something I've really learned last year. Was I wasn't trying to be somebody else. I was really just trying to be myself, and everybody does that. Good things typically happen, and you build good relationships, and that's what he's always done. You have a real conversation with Sean McVay every time you guys interact, and I think that that's what ultimately makes him a great recruiter and surrounds him with unbelievable people.
Yeah, I think, old school coaches probably like, hey, you know what, do your job kind of thing. But I do think there's more attention paid to this is something that doesn't cost you money, right? The interpersonal dynamics of, being cohesive, on the same page, whatever you want to say, a shared vision and supporting each other in a positive environment. That's clearly the path that Liam Cohen's trying to take the Jaguars.
No doubt. And both paths have worked. Right, like you can do it the Tom Coughlin way, where it's my way or the highway. Like you can do it that way, and you can also, Andy Reid doesn't strike me.
I think it's getting harder to do that, though.
I think it probably is because of the people you're talking to trying to lead them, in that kind of direction. I would agree. Like it is, there's more room for the more open, right? Like there's just more space in it. It used to be in the NFL, if you weren't that, it's like, why are you a coach?
Right.
That's kind of how it felt. It's like, why would
drill
you be
sergeant?
Right. Like, why aren't you doing that? That's how this works. You're the guy that's leading this. Why wouldn't you want it to look this way if you're going to be the one in charge? Well, Cohen's the one in charge for the first time, and he was also asked about what was he telling and saying to the coaches that he was trying to bring in to be a part of his staff, as he is. He's building it for the first time.
Hey man, I was able to go to the Rams and learn what I thought was getting my PhD in coaching, right? I'm not Sean, and this is a version of that place, right? But maybe if you haven't been in this system or been a part of it from, whether you're more in it, you just haven't had an experience of working under one of these coaches yet, hey, come, just be bold, man. Come do something different. Come be a part of something that may not be what you're used to. And, Jacksonville doesn't hurt. Being a tax-free state doesn't hurt. But really, it's part of starting something new. And truly, I'm really saying, is build it the way you want to be able to build it. Do things that, are hard. It's going to be hard. But that's what's the fun part.
I mean, look, there are only so many jobs. There are only 32 head coaching jobs, right? There are only 32 linebackers coaches jobs. And, yes, there are assistant linebackers coaches, but there are all kinds of coaches out there, right? So there are only so many spaces to fill, only 32 staffs that you can be a part of out there. But that's an interesting pitch. Hey, everybody loved McVay. We're trying to be McVay. Why don't you take a chance and see if we're going to turn out to be McVay East, the LA Rams East? But what else are you going to sell it on other than new direction, positivity. Here's where we're going. And, oh, by the way, you've got this to work with. You got this to work. You got this to work. And the state won't take any of your pay.
Doesn't hurt.
Yeah. I mean, so I'd rather it being like, look, man, people are lining up to come play or coach this team because Trevor Lawrence is the guy everybody believes in. And I don't doubt that because we've heard that from like Grant Udinsky, who's going to be the offensive coordinator, that is so you don't have to sell your defensive line coach on that necessarily.
They'll sell themselves, right? Like the pieces that you have in place generally are going to, they know who they are, right? Like they're not walking and going, who's the quarterback?
Sure.
There's none of that. So if you're going to even be interested in the job on any level, it's going to be to some degree, I want to coach Trevor Lawrence because that's who you're going to be coaching. There's no other reason to come here.
But at the same time, Cleveland right now is looking at what? Kenny Pickett, right? Because Deshaun Watson. So there's a
totally different
I'm sure if they've got some openings, though, they're able to fill them. You know what I mean? Because they're in the end, there are only so many seats.
And you do sell them on kind of a similar message, right? Like you do sell them on, none of this is going to be easy. Build it the way you want to build it. These are the things that you're going to have available. Now you get to figure out how do you want to mold this clay, right? Which is essentially what Liam Cohen's saying there. It's new. It's open. We're trying to go in this direction. We want you to be a part of it. We know what some of the clay looks like, but you get to mold it into what you think it should look like for us to be successful. We're all pulling in the same direction. I don't think the pitch is all that different anywhere else, right? To any of these guys. I think what they have in the back of their mind as to what the clay actually looks like will be different in some spots because the Jaguars do have Trevor Lawrence and they do have Josh Hines-Allen and they do have Trayvon. Like they do have pieces at key positions, but they don't have all the key pieces they need in all the key positions.
No, I do think, though, it's easier if you have an established track record of success. I mean, like Andy Reid has an opening on his staff. He goes, hey, you want to come coach for the team that's been in the Super Bowl for the last 3 years? We clearly know what we're doing. It's a completely different pitch. Now,
you don't have to sell as hard in Kansas City as you do in Cleveland.
And many other places, like Philadelphia, or obviously, and any team that's perennially in the playoffs, even Pittsburgh. Like, hey, man, we don't ever let this thing bottom out, right? I mean, we may not be great every year. We may not make the postseason every year, but we win. And Mike Tomlin's never had a losing record. I do think, though, we're talking about first-time head coaches. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of, like, it's the pitch wherever it is. We're whatever happened in the past is not going to reflect on what we do in the future, right? You want to be a part of the bold new future and turn this thing around. All right, one more here before we break. For himself as well. You know, it's not just these guys taking a chance to join his staff. He is stepping up from offensive coordinator, that is Liam Cohen, in Tampa to being the head coach here. What about his own personal learning curve?
Man, I just got asked that question. It's a really good one. No, it's a great one. I really do, because you're as an OC, you're managing, 10 coaches, players, a little bit of staffing, but not, that's basically about it. Now, there's other parts to it. And it keeps adding up, right? With defense, special teams, a little bit of the situations outside, but that's the beautiful way of how we structured this with myself, James, Tony Baselli. I'm able to truly focus on the staff. Like, that's it. Like, I'll keep the main thing. I'm a football coach. James does personnel. Tony's able to help with so much of the support staff and communication. So, the time is doubled. I haven't done a lot of ball, but it's been really cool. I think with the players coming in soon, be able to do a little bit more. But a normal day right now starts with about 6 a.m. They have a schedule for me every day, and then I go in with James for the rest of the day. So that's where we've been at right now.
What time does the going with James part begin? Is it, you know what I mean? Because it does at times. It sounds like, man, this is going to be a completely collaborative effort, and he's right there. Like, James is handling personnel. Right? I'm putting together a coaching staff. He's handling personnel. That's his department. So it seems like there's more clearly delineated roles for these guys than maybe not that I didn't expect it to be ultimately the GM who makes that decision, but there was a lot of this is a Liam-centric, coaches-centric kind of situation, Tony. It's everything he himself is saying indicates to me that if they're going to rely on a tiebreaker in the draft, they're going to look at James Gladstone because he's the one with the scouting chops. It's not going to be Liam Cohen pounding his fist on the table. I'm not saying it'll never occur, but I don't think it's going to be a common occurrence.
They're willing to follow Gladstone's lead on personnel stuff.
Yeah. And that's, that may be by choice and design, and Liam Cohen had, a lot of say in how this will be set up, but I do think it's a little bit like this is Liam Cohen. At the end of the day, if Liam Cohen wants this guy and James Gladstone wants this guy, first of all, that'll be settled before you ever get into the draft room. But I think in terms of ranking guys, you always have guys, I bet, in buckets that are pretty close. Like you might have 10 players that all have about the same grade. And then you're like, all right, do we take at this stage in the third round, do we take the offensive lineman? Do we take the cornerback?
Yeah.
Or whatever. That's where the debate is, not on the talent of the player or where you rank them. It's when you've got those guys that are ranked that closely together. What have you done prior in the draft, and what do you still expect to be available? Makes those decisions a little bit more compelling in the moment. All right, we'll come back. Tony will take us around the National Football League. A little bit more from Liam Cohen as well. And everything's gravy right now. How do you keep that high energy level up when you've got a bunch of guys that are going to be coming into practice with this team for the first time shortly after the NFL draft when mini camps open up around the National Football League? That and more coming up in hour number 2, including the Tuesday top five options for the 5th pick. That could be moving up, could be moving back, could be sticking and picking any variety of players. We'll get into all that on the way. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Even more Jaguars. Listen to the Tommy Mac podcast with Tom McManus and Campo and Joe with Dave Campo and Joe C. Find these original podcasts at 1010XL.com or on Twitter at 1010XL.
Attention Florida homeowners, for 1 month only. Save big with Renewal by Anderson. Get $300 off every window and $825 off all patio doors. Plus, call now and ask about our brand new Ensemble entry door system. But hurry, this limited time offer won't last. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com today to schedule your free design consultation. That's bestwindowsflorida.com. Renewal by Anderson, your trusted window and door experts. Superior products, exceptional service. License number CGC 1527613.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life that you're proud of, and you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Offices in Jacksonville. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's attorneys. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Rick Julius, licensed in Pennsylvania only. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Warm weather means the beach, fishing, golf, and more. Make sure to drop into Daly's and grab a cold case to go. From Bud Light to their seltzer, from Mick Ultra to Modelo, or your favorite crafts like Old City or Sweetwater. Grab and go at your local Daly's.
It's about the hunt.
Captain Kevin Favor here with Captain Kirk and Jeff Lagerman.
We take you from the water to the woods.
On the Nimnicht Outdoors Show. Presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning.
Let's go to the woods, y'all.
Saturday mornings from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the country that offers multi-unit hair grafting, FUE NeoGraft hair transplants, and the 45-minute effective PRP treatments.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
Thank you, IHRS.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Schedule a free evaluation and find out how to grow your hair back and keep the hair you have. Call 904-777-IHRS. Take the first step to restoring your hair today. Visit hairforme.com.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
IHRS has been restoring hair for men and women for over 30 years.
Call now for a free in-person or virtual evaluation. 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or visit hair4me.com.
Lots of jewelry stores in the town center, but only one is locally owned, Beard's Diamonds.
We're the only local jewelry store at the town center.
That's Jacksonville's John Lupo, owner of Beard's for over 4 decades.
We're entrenched in Jacksonville, Florida.
In a sea of mega chain jewelers, John says it's easy to stand out because he's not handcuffed by a corporate handbook.
I am not beholden to a corporate structure, so we've got flexibility to do whatever we can and want, and we do.
And that includes lowering prices to undercut them every day.
Quality for quality, color for color, everything the same. We should be able to beat them hands down by minimum 20%. We go overseas ourselves. We know exactly what we're buying. This isn't getting marked up in a corporate structure. We will beat anybody's price anywhere.
So before you buy anything at one of those chains, get a second opinion at locally owned Beard's Diamonds. No corporate atmosphere, no corporate rules, no corporate high markups.
We want you to come shop us and you'll see a lot better price here.
Beard's Diamonds.
Everybody gets a good deal at Beard's.
All right, it's Baloo. Let's get real for a minute. Losing weight isn't exactly easy, especially when your life involves being surrounded by good food at every event imaginable. Believe me, I get it. But thanks to Awaken 180, I'm already down 10 pounds, feeling sharper, more energized, and never hungry. This isn't some juice diet or starving yourself nonsense. I'm eating food that tastes great, even when I'm out on the road. Here's the beauty. Awaken 180 gives you the game plan to handle real-life situations. I've been hitting plenty of events lately, temptation everywhere, and I've managed to stay on track effortlessly. That's huge. 10 pounds down, energy way up, hunger totally controlled. So if you're tired of carrying around extra weight, tired of diets that don't work, it's time to check out Awaken 180. Take it from me, hacker Dempsey Hayes, basically everyone. It's easy. It works and it's real. Do what we did and choose the solution for weight loss. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Plumbing problem? AC not blowing cool? Septic tank backing up? No need to call 3 different companies. Just call DuckDuckRooter. At DuckDuckRooter, we do it all. Plumbing, septic, and air conditioning with expert technicians in each department. One company, one call, one easy bill. No hassle, no runaround, just fast professional service from highly skilled techs who know their stuff. Need help? Call 904-862-6769 today and let DuckDuckRooter handle it all. DuckDuckRooter.com.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get Zero Resified and take 25% off all services. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com and tell them Hicken or 1010XL sent you.
Zero Res. This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL local sports update. The Jacksonville Jaguars have emphasized their priority in creating a dominant and physical offensive line. After signing a few offensive linemen through free agency, could they be looking to add more in the upcoming draft? Jags head coach Liam Cohen gave a State of the Union on where the offensive line is so far this offseason, speaking at the owners' meeting.
I think that's, yes, physical is a mass and size issue, but it's also a mentality. Right. It's also the way it's coached, the way it's taught, the way it's preached. So I'm kind of going to hold on evaluating that part. Do I think we got competition in depth? Absolutely. I think we got some good, sound, solid players that are going to help elevate that floor. But let's go wait and see what it truly looks like when we actually go and compete and do things the way that we're going to do them.
Liam Cohen at the owners' meeting. It's 77 degrees at 10:58. Time in temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
I saw a little item this morning, Tony. Might have been over at SI.com. It wasn't from John Shipley. It wasn't his byline. I think it was SI. It doesn't really matter. The point was, did Liam Cohen tip the Jaguars' draft plans with his comments at the owners' meetings? And it was about the offensive line. And basically it said in response to somebody, man, I got to Jacksonville. I didn't realize what a luxury we had in Tampa. We had 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, talking to Vegas.
Okay, 2 second-round picks. It was Spytek.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it was, right? They were talking to John Spytek, the new GM there, and he said, that's right, that Liam Cohen had said this. I had 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders, and a 4th-rounder. Well, he could have also said, first-rounder Vita Vea on that. You know what I mean? Yes, the offensive line, they're both lines of scrimmage, fantastic. Vita Vea listed at how big right now, by the way? Just out of curiosity, what do you think he's listed as weight-wise?
355?
346. So he probably weighs 355. But regardless, I thought, look, I don't think Liam Cohen's dumb. I don't think he's going, this tells you this is what we're going to do at 5. Doesn't mean they wouldn't take an offensive lineman there. They've invested in improving this offensive line. The Jags offensive line, by the way, does have a first-rounder at tackle and a second-rounder at tackle. But, you fill in all those other positions, and it's not the draft capital that the Bucs invested. But it was an interesting comment nonetheless.
Sure.
That he thought that, maybe we got a little more work to do before we're up to that level. All right, why don't we take a moment and go around the rest of the NFL?
Now, Gems Around the NFL, brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Tennessee head coach Brian Callahan said on Monday at the league meeting that wide receiver Treylon Burks, who is recovering from a torn ACL that he suffered midway through the season last year, is unlikely to be ready for training camp and potentially could miss the start of the 2025 season. Cleveland head coach Kevin Stefanski said yesterday that the Browns will be having dinner later this week around his April 4th pro day with draft prospect Shedeur Sanders. To no one's surprise, Browns co-owner Jimmy Haslam finally acknowledged calling the Browns trade for quarterback Deshaun Watson a big swing and miss on Monday. Green Bay offensive lineman Elton Jenkins will be transitioning from guard to center there for the Packers. Las Vegas Raiders GM John Spytek said that he is confident that they will be getting an extension done with quarterback Geno Smith fairly soon. Free agent quarterback Aaron Rodgers held a throwing session with Pittsburgh wide receiver DK Metcalf over the weekend. Still no timetable for a Rodgers decision to be made. The NFL owners approved a resolution that will allow the league to flex games to Thursday Night Football with 21 days notice. It shortens the time frame from 28 to 21 days. We talked about both these rule changes earlier this morning, but the NFL has approved the rule change to bring the postseason overtime rules to the regular season with a 10-minute clock instead of a 15-minute clock, but both teams will be guaranteed a possession. Another approved rule change involved expanded replay assist to include hits on a defensive player, grabbing the face mask, performing a horse collar tackle, tripping and running into or roughing the kicker, with the catch being that a flag has to be thrown on the play for it to be reviewed. And the NFL has also approved touchbacks on kickoffs being moved out from the 30 to the 35-yard line.
Tabling the tush-push decision, at least for now, shoving it into the future is what they're doing with the tush-push.
Yes.
Right now. It's either it's going to pass or it's not going to pass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how much more time do you need to study it or think about it as an organization?
Well, and you've already seen Adam Schefter. He came out and said yesterday that all of the former assistants that were with the Eagles are going to vote to not approve it. So that's already 4 coaches.
To not approve, meaning to do away with the tush-push. I'm not sure what
to continue to allow it to continue to happen.
To do away with the rule change that affects it. Yeah.
Okay. I got you. I wasn't sure what direction that took us in the not approving. So former Eagles coaches?
Yeah, so Kellen Moore, who's coaches for the Saints, Gannon in Arizona, and the guy in Indy whose name's escaping my mind.
Steichen.
Yeah, Steichen. And there's one more, I forget.
Okay, so
that's 4, and it has to approve by 24 coaches have to approve it for it to be banned.
Okay, so they are voting to keep it.
Yes.
Okay, so you'd still need another 20.
Right.
All right, you need 24 to. All right.
Yeah, they would need to pick up
now.
they would need to pick up 24 of the other 28.
To say no.
To
it.
Yeah.
Got it. To outlaw it at this point in time. It's easy to confuse me. Mm-hmm. All right. Liam Cohen, I hope, is not going to have any confusion whatsoever when the Jags go 17-0 in the regular season. It just so happens on our cut sheet, this is cut 17 from yesterday. Everything feels good right now. Everybody's in a positive mood, right? We're clearing out the basement. We're putting in a new foundation, Tony. We're getting some, raising the level of the bottom of the roster. We hit all our free agent targets. We haven't screwed anything up majorly. There's nothing to be upset about at this point in time. All this is positive. So, Liam Cohen, how do you keep that energy rolling that you're trying to have when everybody is in the building day one?
Incrementally inputting the culture. So it's not just, culture overload day one when you're like, as a player and coach and staff, it's like, that was way too much. Like, this is a lot. Hey, incrementally, really just, because it's culture is how we truly just are. How we talk to each other, how we hang out with each other, the way we hold meetings and gatherings together. So it's just incrementally, let's have these conversations about trying to do more of this instead of this, right? At the end of the day, how do we connect closer? And, players, you have to show them. Like, you truly have to, let's show them examples of what we want this to look like. I remember Harvard did a study a few years ago on the Boston Celtics and the Lakers on the power of touch. When you shoot a free throw and every single dude, right, you see them all dap people up. In the basketball world, the power of touch is so huge in terms of the best teams that year that touched the most in terms of the connection, the high fives, all that stuff. There was the Lakers and the Celtics, the best teams in the league. And so there's a whole study about it I thought was interesting because it's like, for us to actually be connected, we got to be able to high five and, celebrate and have a good time together. That's what we're trying to do.
All right. Well, I'm glad and I'm sure, some of these things are obvious. You don't just come in and snap your fingers and say, this is the way it's going to be. You got to show him on a daily basis. But he seems to, be pretty genuine in who he is. I don't think it's a front. I don't think it's fake. And I think you'd rather play for somebody with that positive energy. Now, if it's manic positive energy, that could wear on you. I don't get the sense that it's going to be that kind of an issue with Liam Cohen. So, it's the little things, and that's all they can work on right now because they're not working on much in the way of X's and O's. 641-1010. Let's get Eric in St. Augustine up here on Jaguars Today. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
All right. What's up?
Just hearing those comments recently about Liam Cohen, I'm feeling a little bit nervous, just trying to hold out a little bit of hope, only because he stated, quote, that he wants good football players. And then when she said that, I'm like, well, you let go two good football players, Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk. And, in the beginning, in his press conference, when he got to Jacksonville, he stated this offense is about Trevor. So if you take away those two good players and you're supposed to help Trevor, how is that going to make him better this season? I'm just really nervous, and I'm trying to see it through. You know what I'm saying? Because later in the comment he said about Parker Washington and Brent Strange. Granted, they only had one game apiece that that they played really good in. Besides, Christian Kirk got hurt in the Green Bay game, and I think that Burton Strange game in Indianapolis or whatnot. So that's my take, and I'll take my comments.
All right, I appreciate it. No, I think it's fair. It's fair to wonder, and it's fair to ask. Several things that go into this. A, obviously they're not done, right? They got the draft, and B, the old Rome wasn't built in a day. As much as, his job, he said yesterday, our main goal is to win games right now for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, realistically, is this team going to be a Super Bowl contender this year? A lot would have to go right? So if you're looking at the long term, you say, okay, yes, Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk are good football players. At the price point, are they going to give us the value of what we're investing in them? Or can we redistribute that money and get other good football players that'll give us a better, overall talent level on this football team? And particularly in the case of Evan Ingram, I think the feeling was this is not the type of tight end that he's looking for. He wants more the two-way, the physical guy who can not be a tell. Like Evan Ingram's like another receiver on the football field. He wants, I think, more of the all-around classic tight end type. So, yes, Evan Ingram is a good football player. Is he perfect for this scheme? I think the answer would be no, or else he would still be here. And so, but I think it's fair to ask and say, if we're going to, how are we helping Trevor? Well, A, offensive line, they feel like they've improved. They brought in 4 new linemen, 2 projected starters, 2 guys to give you depth at tackle. We'll see what else the draft brings. That's one way to do it. De'Ami Brown, we'll see. That's the only real pass-catching addition that they've made to this team. I don't look at those tight ends as pass-catching additions.
No.
But if Munt and Long help the offense run more smoothly and you get more first downs and the running game improves because of better blocking and better scheme, that helps Trevor Lawrence as well. More easy first downs, things like that. Like, I'm not trying to sell you that will happen, Eric. I'm saying that's their vision, I think, of what will happen. All these different factors in. But I think at the bottom line, we said it, we would have kept Ingram. Kirk, more understandable. Kirk hasn't been healthy a lot the last couple of years. And that's another thing. If these guys are going to miss big chunks of games, they're not helping Trevor Lawrence either. And you're spending a lot of your salary cap space on that pair. And you're trying to, turn things over, get a fresh start. Are they part of our long-term future? If they're not, bite the bullet now. Is that the right decision? We often go back to Dave Caldwell with Darryl Smith, Tony. You know what? He's probably a little older than fits the model, like 3 years down the line. Well, it turned out he was still a really good player for a really long time.
Sure.
And they admitted that maybe it would have been better to have some of that veteran presence around to help some of these young guys. So it could be that they've gone a step or two too far with these releases. We just don't know yet.
Well, and it's why when we discuss where my priorities lie right now going into the draft, it's why wide receivers very high on that list, if not at the top of that list, right? Like, it's not that I don't acknowledge what they've let walk out the door and they haven't refilled, those spots with impact players. It doesn't feel like to me. They obviously like going out and getting De'Ami Brown, and I look at it and go, okay. Right? It's like, I'm curious to see what that's going to look like. Right.
I'm hopeful.
But okay. But it's why wide receiver is still so high on the priority list for me. So I would say we're 3 weeks away from the NFL draft. Essentially, we're in 4 weeks from now, we'll know what the plan looked like and what it is. Right. And how they actually are going to address some of these concerns that we may have that they haven't concerned to this point. Edge, they did nothing with. They still got to do something at defensive tackle, right? Like, there are spots where they still have work to do to see what the plan was and how they're going to carry it out. I'm willing to wait to see what that looks like, but I have where I think the priorities should be in my mind. I'm curious if they match what the teams are. I don't know.
Right. A month from now, we'll basically know what the roster is going to look like for this season, and then we can make better judgments. But I think it's fair to – I don't know if it's fair criticism yet, because it may turn out that their vision is correct, right? But it's a fair point to bring up that are they doing this the right way, right? Just because it's new doesn't make it right. So let's keep our fingers crossed that it is, and we'll go from there. All right, when we come back, got a little Tuesday top 5 action for you. What are our top 5 maneuvers or plans for the 5th pick, whether that includes trading up, back, or sticking and picking any variety of players? We'll run through those coming up. Adam Schefter tweeting out the NFL Christmas triple header on the way this year. 2 games on Netflix. It's on a Thursday this year. 2 games on Netflix and a Christmas nightcap on Amazon. I do not want the Jags involved in that at all, in my personal opinion. Again, me though, 1 o'clock Sunday every week is ideal.
Yep.
But whatever. We'll adapt and adjust.
I imagine we're going to have a lot of that this year.
I would think so this year.
Yeah.
Right. But, but you do get into, flex scheduling where now 3 weeks notice is all it takes to go from Sunday night to Thursday night. And I saw Doom complaining about this, and rightfully so. I mean, look, the TV audience is where really the money is made. Okay. The TV contracts as opposed, but like at some point, what are you doing to your ticket buying public when, we don't just snap our fingers. We're not all billionaires, and we can change our plans and reservations and all these things at a moment's notice.
Everything worked out for a Thursday night. That's for people that are just the average people that go to a football game. That's a lot to ask.
Absolutely. And again, probably not going to impact the Jags a whole lot this year. It wouldn't look like. All right, Tuesday top 5 straight ahead. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
He's our high school sports muscle.
Stop calling your arms guns.
Ryan the Hacker Green.
We're going to do something different.
Hacker After Dark.
A little more down to earth.
Right after Rick Ballou. Evenings on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today.
You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Superior products, exceptional service.
All right, gentlemen, we've trained for this. We've battled the elements. But if there's one thing we can't afford, it's letting the heat take us out before the big game.
But Coach, the AC at my house is busted. I barely got any sleep last night.
Well, Johnson, you should have called Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. They're the real MVPs. Now let's cue the cool music.
Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. The coolest cats in town.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and
If you
Gentle.
suffer from constant burning, tingling, or numbness in your hands or feet, it could be a serious condition called neuropathy. I'm Dr. Nathan Riddle, DC with Riddle Wellness in Ponte Vedra. Neuropathy is treatable, and we have seen great results by using state-of-the-art, non-invasive therapies to target damaged nerves, reduce symptoms, and improve nerve function. Call 904-395-5598 to schedule your free consultation today and learn how you can live pain-free. Call 904-395-5598.
Your tax refund is here. Why not invest in your home? Superior Fence and Rail helps you build value with beautiful, durable fences that boost your home security, privacy, and curb appeal. With expert installation and financing options, turning your yard into an outdoor oasis is easier than ever. Reinvest in your home today with Superior Fence and Rail.
When you're on the fence, about the fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Draft season is here, and so is Mia's Mock Draft Mondays. And this year, we're powered by One Night Taco Stand. Each week, I'll unveil a new set of possible targets for the big cats on the 1010XL social channels and 1010XL.com. Let's talk about it on 1010XL.
Take your taste buds to One Night Taco Stand for Taco Tuesday. Get $2.99 tacos and $6.99 specialty drinks. The 1010XL restaurant of the day is One Night Taco Stand, Mandarin, Orange Park, and Southside at Bay Meadows.
Pick it here for Bound 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bound 9. Visit Bound 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bound 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you become more active, reach your weight loss goals, and find your inner strength. Membership at the Y includes state-of-the-art facilities, a huge variety of fitness classes, and programs for all ages. It's easy to join the Y since it's affordable for all incomes. The Y is a great place to make connections and experience something new. Visit the YMCA near you or online at fcymca.org.
Homeowners, listen up. It's time to start fresh in 2025. Prosser here, and Loan Pronto is here to help take control of your finances in 2025 by lowering your house payments and consolidating that nagging debt. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Right now, Loan Pronto has some of the most competitive offers for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans, starting in the low 5s APR. If your current rate is over 6%, don't settle for paying too much. Even if you're in process with another lender, call Loan Pronto now. Lock in at a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Get your personalized Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees. Call now, 904-999 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Getting a pool? David Garrard here. I just did. But before they dug, I called Clearwater Irrigation, and they capped off all my sprinkler lines so the pool company could just dig away.
Then when your pool's finished, we'll install your sprinkler system back to full coverage.
And now my backyard oasis is getting watered beautifully.
And maybe then, Dave, I could take another quick dip.
Bigger swimming trunks, John. Much bigger.
Clearwater Irrigation.
And drainage, too.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise and towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, Tuesday Top 5. Today, we asked you if you wanted to play along for your top 5 options for the 5th pick in the draft. And we got some really detailed responses, and I appreciate all those. We'll get to some of them coming up in the final segment of the show. Although yesterday, Tone, just wrapping up yesterday's poll, 305 voted in it. It's not a big total. We asked, is it more likely the Jags trade back from 5 up from 36 or stand pat? Stand pat got 49% of that. Even though you and I agree, trade up from 36, we feel more likely than trade back from 5. 27% said trade back from 5, the next most likely. 24% think trade up from 36 is the most likely, which would be the least likely of those options anyway. All right. Are you ready for the countdown?
I am.
Let's get it. Tuesday
Number
top
5.
Here we go. Number 5. There we go. I'm going to lead off this week. Usually I give somebody else the honors. But I will say this. Officially number 6 for me is draft Ashton Genty because I combined a couple of spots in here. That's where it falls. So that's not my official one. My number 5 option for the Jags with the 5th pick is simply stay pat and draft Mason Graham. That's where it falls for me among all the other options. Don't know if they'll be able to pull off all the other options because some of them involve other teams being involved.
Sure.
But I will say just pick a guy who is relatively safe. I don't know what the upside is. This is presuming they see him as the elite player that many other people do. Out after the Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter tier, Mason Graham, along with just a small handful of other players, seems to fit. And if the Jags don't take him in mocks, he doesn't usually fall beyond pick 8, 9, somewhere in that range. Doesn't get out of the top 10. So be safe. Draft Mason Graham, but that's my 5th favorite option. What do you got?
For me, my 5th favorite option would be trade up for Abdul Carter. And it's how high do you have to get Abdul Carter comes into question. I think if you only have to go to 4 and he's still available there, it's going to cost you, a 3rd-round pick to get there. You know,
depends.
Something in that range. If you have to get up to 3, you're probably talking your 2nd-round pick is what it's going to cost you to get to that point in the draft. So that's why it's 5th on my list. I think I'm not ranking the probability of any of these things happening. It's simply my preference for things that could happen.
If you knew you had to get to 2, how attractive is that option for you?
Not very.
Okay. So presuming he gets past Cleveland.
Yeah. Now I would think about it. Once it gets to that 3 where it's going to cost me the 2, if it gets to 4 and it's going to cost me the 3 in my mind, I think that's kind of the cost for making that kind of small move in the draft. If he's still there and the team that's there is willing to drop down to 5, I don't completely understand the rationale for either of those teams, right, to make that move. But that would be at number 5 on my list to trade up for Carter.
Dylan Denmark.
Trade up to get Abdul Carter with the Browns, and according to the NFL draft value, you would have to give up a 2nd round this year and a 3rd round next year to go up to number 2 to pick up.
Buddy, I don't know if I want Abdul Carter or not another pick until pick 70.
Sir. That's why it's number 5.
I get you. I'll say that I'd trade up for Abdul Carter, not on my top 5, because I do think he's not falling to the range where I think it becomes cost effective to make that move. That's for me. All right, moving on.
Number 4.
Number 4 for me is, this is kind of putting it in the lap of James Gladstone, Liam Cohen, Tony Baselli, draft the best offensive lineman. Your favorite offensive lineman at pick number 5. That's presuming that they agree. I mean, obviously, if they don't agree on Mason Graham, then picking him at 5 would be a bad option as well. But whether that's Will Campbell, Armand Membo, this is in a scenario where Carter and Hunter are off the board. 2 quarterbacks go. You got your choice of any offensive lineman in the draft. So you're not settling. You've got your favorite one. And then obviously you got to have a plan. But they know what their evaluations of these players are. And, hearing that Liam Cohen comment about needing to invest more in the offensive line, yeah, I think that fits. I would rather have a dominant offensive line to protect Trevor Lawrence than I would a dominant defensive line. I think they've got pieces of a potentially dominant defensive line already in place. But I would prioritize O-line over D-line. I'm going to put that at number 4 for me.
Number 4 for me, a player that has grown more and more in the last couple of weeks in my mind, Jalen Walker at 5. And it is not, he is your third edge, but wouldn't just be the guy that comes on the field when the other guys are off the field. He can play way more than that and give you way more impact than that. And the idea of that keeps growing and growing and growing more roots in my mind about the idea of Jalen Walker being the guy there at number 5. And that's weighing that against some of the other options that we'll continue to discuss here. But I really like the idea of Jalen Walker at 5 right now.
Okay. I feel like you're stealing my guy, but that's okay. We can both agree on that. Dylan Denmark.
Trade back with the Raiders, go back 1 pick and get Will Campbell, and you also get the Raiders' 4th-round pick this year.
What are the Raiders coming up for?
Ashton Jeanty.
Just to make sure that nobody jumps them?
Yeah, because they believe in the internet rumors that we're going to take them.
Okay, so we get basically the player we want anyway, or in your case, Will Campbell?
Yeah, so they believe that Will Campbell's the best offensive lineman.
Okay.
And so they move back 1 and they get another draft pick.
Fair enough. All right, moving on.
Number 3.
There it is. All right. I broke Dylan, very specific trade back with the Raiders. I did the same kind of thing. Trade back with the New Orleans Saints. Now, this presupposes a couple of things. One, that the Patriots probably go O-line, that it's kind of like Carter, Hunter, O-line with 2, 3, and 4, because Shedeur Sanders is potentially the lure to get the Saints to jump up there. Right? Derek Carr's not going to be long for the Saints. They need a new face of the franchise. Jets could take him. Raiders could take him, despite all the Ashton Jeanty smoke. They're not coming out and saying, we're definitely taking Ashton Jeanty. So trade with New Orleans. And here's the trade. I'm going to trade pick 5 to New Orleans. What I expect in return. Pick 5, by the way, on the old chart. I don't know what chart they're going by. It's worth 1,700 points. Pick 9 is 1,350. So how do I make up the 350? I get New Orleans' 3rd-round pick this year, which is worth $235. I get their 3rd-rounder next year because I value that as a 4th-rounder this year. That's kind of the rule, right? You add 1 year as you trade into the future. So where they would be picking in the 4th round this year, the equivalent pick would be worth about 90-ish points, right? So, and I add pick 148 to that, which I think is, what would that be, a 5th rounder. So I'm getting 2/3 and a 5th to go back, and my target is who's left out of Mason Graham, Ashton Jeanty, Jalen Walker, or offensive line, because that's presuming they come up for Shedeur Sanders. Even if the Patriots take an O-lineman, one of the other top 2 is going to be there. One of those 4, maybe multiple of them, is guaranteed to be available at 9. That's kind of like my comfort zone of how far back I'm willing to drop.
Gotcha. For me, at number 3, it would be trade up for Travis Hunter. Okay. So I had Carter at 5. I got Hunter at 3. He's still my preference of all the players in the draft would be for the Jaguars to land Travis Hunter. And it's the same conversation about the trade value, what you'd have to give up to get the 2, 3, 4. It's more likely if it gets to 3 or 4. And again, from the other side, I don't know why they do it. I don't know why they'd have any interest in making this trade from the other side. But for me, from my side, number 3 on the list is trade up for Travis Hunter.
All right, Dylan.
I got the same, trading with the Giants, getting Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter's the odds-on favorite to go to the Giants. It was the Patriots, depending on the sports books that you look at. And you have to give up a 2nd-round pick this year. So you swap your 1st, you give up a 2nd this year, trade up with the Giants, get Travis Hunter.
All right, and let's try to squeeze in number 2. We'll save number 1 for the final segment.
Number 2.
All right, number 2 option, another trade back scenario for me. This one, not going as far. I'm not getting as much, but I'm also not going as far. So this is a scenario where the Jags trade back with the Jets. Again, 1,700 points in value that you're giving up. I'm going to add the 6th-round pick, 184, into the mix. Jets pick is worth 1,500. Now, how do I make up the difference? They gave me their 3rd rounder this year, pick 73. That's worth 225. You get a better package from New Orleans, but you also have less options. Like this way, you might get exactly who you were taking with pick 5. If the Jets want to jump the Raiders because they're fearful that Shedeur Sanders won't make it to them in this scenario, and you think that the Raiders are pretty set on taking Ashton Genty, that means Mason Graham is going to be there. One of the top offensive linemen is going to be there, or Jared Walker is going to, Jalen Walker. Gosh, I'm just like, Jared. I had Jared Wilson right, but completely different player, and that's who I want with pick 70. So anyway, trading back with the Jets, my number 2 option.
Number 2 for me, keep it simple, draft Mason Graham.
Okay.
He's going to be, over the next few weeks when we're doing the rank them, like what you want to, if you are picking at 5, who's at the top of your list? Mason Graham's going to be at the top of my list.
Okay.
He's number 2 on the top 5 for me today. Draft Mason Graham.
Dylan Denmark.
Armand Membo, get him, stay put at 5, and you have one of your starting tackles day 1.
What are you doing with, I presume, Walker Little, odd man out?
Yeah, he'll be the odd man out because you're starting Anton.
What do you could get for Walker Little? On the contract he's on, what could you get? 4th rounder, maybe?
Max.
I could see it, though. I mean, it's not a crazy contract if you believe in his talent, right? Like, interesting. All right. Well, what if the Patriots go Travis Hunter with their pick? If the Giants go Shedeur Sanders and the Jags do take Membo, maybe the Patriots are the team that you could trade because they'd still be looking for a starting left tackle in this. Anyway, all right. We'll come back with our number 1 option or wish list for the 5th pick in the draft for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tuesday Top 5 continues on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Go full throttle for a photo finish.
Look at this! Whoa!
Sunday at Darlington.
Checkered flag is out.
Powered by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234 and 1010XL.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Jags fans, here's your chance to score a trip to Green Bay for round 1 of draft night. Through the Everbank Draft Night Experience Sweepstakes, one lucky winner and a guest will be there live and in person to see the Jaguars make their first pick. To enter, visit everbank.com/draft by April 4th. That's everbank.com/draft. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry period from 3/3/25 to 4/4/25. For official rules, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/draft. Sponsored administrator, Everbank N.A.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
How many different denominations of paper money are currently being used?
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
There are 7 denominations of U.S. currency: the 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 50, and $100 bills.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
What does your dream backyard look like? Hey, it's Joe C. and my friends at CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living can design an outdoor kitchen layout custom built to your taste and lifestyle. You dream it, they can build it. CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. Visit CSSOutdoor.com.
The Combine, free agency, the draft,
We're professionals. We have a job to do, a season to plan.
Follow the road to the regular season with AA Automotive on Richard Street. Family run since 1954 and 1010XL.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
All right, it's Baloo. Let's get real for a minute. Losing weight isn't exactly easy, especially when your life involves being surrounded by good food at every event imaginable. Believe me, I get it. But thanks to Awaken 180, I'm already down 10 pounds, feeling sharper, more energized, and never hungry. This isn't some juice diet or starving yourself nonsense. I'm eating food that tastes great, even when I'm out on the road. Here's the beauty. Awaken 180 gives you the game plan to handle real-life situations. I've been hitting plenty of events lately, temptation everywhere, and I've managed to stay on track effortlessly. That's huge. 10 pounds down, energy way up, hunger totally controlled. So if you're tired of carrying around extra weight, tired of diets that don't work, it's time to check out Awaken 180. Take it from me, hacker Dempsey Hayes, basically everyone. It's easy. It works and it's real. Do what we did and choose the solution for weight loss. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Mia here, and let me tell you about one of our area's best resorts, the Sawgrass Marriott Golf Resort and Spa. The Sawgrass Marriott is not only a great destination for a vacation, but it is also a great destination for dining on the Florida's first coast. 1912 Ocean Bar and Rooftop is now open on Ponte Vedra Boulevard, featuring Ponte Vedra's only oceanfront rooftop bar and lounge. Serving finely crafted cocktails and delectable eats, it's open daily from 4 to 10 with complimentary valet parking.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performancepainting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, cooling it down here on Jaguars Today, Tuesday, top 5. Just wrapping things up, your top 5 options for the Jaguars with the 5th pick in the NFL draft. And we'll get to a few of your responses. And very detailed. Appreciate the effort that you always put into these Tuesday top 5s. Takes a little more. That's why we send them out on Monday. So you get a little extra time to think about it. Dylan, why don't we conclude our list with today's 10-10 take?
10-10
take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company. Veteran owned and operated.
All right,
Number 1.
Oh, there you go. I was going to set it up for you, but that's fine. That's just fine. As I often do, I extended my 5 to 6. Ashton Genty at 6, if you're wondering. Mason Graham. Draft Mason Graham at 5. Draft best available offensive lineman. Membo, Campbell, you decide. I'll take James Gladstone's evaluation over mine on that. Number 3 option was trade back to pick 9 for New Orleans, getting a 3rd and a 5th this year, along with the Saints' 3rd next year, and getting whatever's left of the quartet of Mason Graham, Ashton Genty, Jalen Walker, best offensive lineman available of the top 2. One of those would be guaranteed in that scenario, presuming they're trading up for Shedeur Sanders. Option 2 for me was trade back with the Jets, only picking up a 3rd rounder, but I may get Mason Graham, may get the top choice, who I would take anyway at 5. So that makes that appealing to me, and that extra 3rd round pick. So once again, we've come to number 1. All right, I'm trading up for Travis Hunter, but only in a limited circumstance here. I'm not going up to 2. I'm not. If the Giants are passing on Shedeur Sanders, I don't think they're passing on Travis Hunter. I think the price is going to be outside my comfort zone. If you trade the 5th pick in the draft along with pick 106, one of the Jags' 4th rounders, and pick 184, it exactly equals the 4th pick in the draft. Now, this is in a scenario where it goes quarterback, Abdul Carter, quarterback. Okay. And the Patriots are thinking, we really want to go offensive line here, but let's get paid off for our trouble. So I want Travis Hunter, but I'm not willing to break the bank. But one of those 4th-round picks and a 6th-round pick from the Jags to secure that guy, the star power, the playmaking ability, that's my top option. I don't think it's likely because it's a very narrow set of parameters.
Yeah.
But if it falls that way, that would be my top option for 5.
Number 5 for me, trade up for Abdul Carter. And we went through all the different scenarios where that would be. Draft Jalen Walker, number 4 on my list at 5. Number 3, trade up for Travis Hunter. And, you know, the scenario you just went through, yeah, that'd be awesome. Number 2, draft Mason Graham. And then number 1 for me, trade back. And I'd probably be willing to fall back further than either of y'all mentioned in your trade back scenarios, because what I would be trading back for with the idea in my mind would be keep me in range to get one of the top 2 or 3 receivers in this draft. So that would be anywhere from like 11 to 20, and I'd be fine with them making that. In fact, I'd be very much in favor of that because I do look at the needs they have. Other than that, in my mind, interior defensive line, they can obviously give me more bites at that apple.
Right.
You know, with a bunch more picks that they could pick up in that scenario. What they could do with a true edge, the extra shots that they would have of that kind of thing would expand as well. The other needs that they have on safety, whatever it is, if it means they can draft the safety in the 3rd round, fine. Right? Like if they pick up extra picks in that kind of regard. But for me, the idea of trading back wouldn't be, I'd be willing to risk not landing somewhere where I can still get Mason Graham, where I can't still get Jalen Walker. I'd be fine with trading out of that if it means I'm still in range to get one of the best pass-catching options in this draft. So that would be my ideal scenario for him in this draft. And if they can't get that done, Mason Graham, pretty easy for me.
All right, Dylan?
Number 5, I had trade up to get Abdul Carter from the Browns. You have to give up a haul, give up your 2nd round this year and the 3rd round next year. Number 4, trade back with the Raiders to get Will Campbell, who they believe would be they believe is the best offensive lineman. 3, trade up to get Travis Hunter with the Giants, give up a 2nd round this year. Number 2, stay put to get Armand Membo. And number 1, stay put to get Mason Graham, the best D tackle in the draft class. You fix the interior of a defensive line. You know what your defensive line looks like. They did not address in free agency. It's done. You can move on, and then you can get who you think is the best available for the rest of the draft.
All right, fair enough. Look, there only are opinions here. Mm-hmm. I just feel like, to me, Mason Graham's lower on my list just because of the depth at defensive tackle. Like, I hear what you're saying on him being at the top. But like, man, if you could get, I think draft night rolls around, if you could send 106 and 184 to the Patriots and get Travis Hunter, I think a lot of people would be on board with that. Sure. Maybe even yourself included, especially since you want a playmaking wide receiver. And that's kind of the vision of how I would use him in this. Let's see. Scott went stand pat. I'm going 1 through 5 here. 1, stick and pick Mason Graham. 2, trade back for Will Campbell. 3, stick and pick for Jalen Walker. He is really growing on a lot of folks, right? 4, trade back and take Jahdae Barron, who some think will be the best pure corner, not two-way player in the draft. And number 5, trade up for Abdul Carter. Probably the cost factors in there. I'll go 5-1. That's the way Cristiano sent him in. Trade back for Genty. Depends on how far you think you could go. Okay, That's fine, though. I mean, it's his list.
It's his list.
Will Campbell is number 4. Mason Graham is number 3. 2 is trade up for Carter. 1's trade up for Hunter. If I got to give up this year's 2nd rounder, I'm not trading up for anybody. I'm just not. That's me. Maybe I'll be the fool when you look back and you pair who the Jags get at 5 and 36, and Abdul Carter's a future Hall of Famer. But I'd be willing to roll the dice on that. Let's see. Jason, 5-1. Trade back for Ted McMillan. Haven't heard his name a whole lot as much recently, right? Did you see that clip that came out of him about how he doesn't like to watch film, doesn't do it by himself?
It was after his freshman year.
I was going to get to that. Yes. But everybody jumped on that immediately. Yeah. Oh, my God, you can't draft this guy. And it's like, man, he was a freshman. He's probably learned a little bit about film watching since that point in time. So trade back for Ted McMillan. Trade back for Tyler Warren. Trade up for Abdul Carter. Stay put at 5 for Ashton Genty, or trade up for Travis Hunter. So Jason's like, hey, if I can't trade up, man, Genty's coming to Jacksonville in that scenario. Bush Drive Rich, he says he could come up with 3 scenarios, but he did multiple things in these scenarios. Number 1, stay pat, come what may, and trade back into the first for Tet McMillan. Okay, so basically take whoever's your best, but also jump up knowing you're going to get Tet McMillan. Okay?
Okay.
That's a big jump.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a bit potentially. Anyway, number 2, trade up for Carter and trade up to get Will Campbell. I guess he's saying, like, I don't know what you think you're
very much on board with the 2 first-round picks.
Right. Like. He wants 2 elite first-round picks.
Yeah.
I don't know if the rest of your picks get you back into the top 10.
Right.
And I don't see the Jags coming out of this draft with 2 players. So
no.
I'd be definitely opposed to some of these. Trade up for Hunter and have him release his fiancée as part of the deal. All right? That's some people think that'll be an issue. I don't know. Let's see. This one, stick and pick Abdul Carter. If by some miracle he falls, I'm going to invalidate this list right now. As we told you, you got to move. If you want Carter or Hunter, you have to move up. He had it number 1, stick and pick Hunter. Okay. Yeah. That would be my number 1 as well.
Yes.
You know how we could have done that? If we had lost to the Titans last year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but you wouldn't have felt that good that day. But right now you'd be sitting there. You know what? You'd be sitting there doing. You'd be sitting
there. What do you need to get paid off for Hunter?
For Cam Ward.
Yeah.
Is what it would be.
Yeah.
Giants will jump Cleveland for Cam Ward, right? You get the Giants second and maybe a second next year. Yep. You drop the 3, and you have at worst Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. Yep. One or the other. At worst, sitting there in your lap. Hope that win was worth it to you. I mean, seriously. Once you're out of it. Well, I get it.
I know, but I said at the time.
I did too.
When they were getting ready for that game, I'm not going to get all worked up about the draft scenarios for the game. So I'm not going to get all worked up about the draft
root for them. I said I'm not going to root for them to lose, but I wouldn't be upset if they did.
Sure.
I'm not going to openly root for them to lose to the Titans, but because it wasn't the same thing as like when you're trying to secure your franchise quarterback.
Right.
But all that had to happen was lose that game.
Yeah.
And we would be sitting there trying to ransom off the pick for people who think there's only one quarterback worth a damn in this draft, which I think will turn out to be more than one team.
Yeah, now, even with all that being said, it's not that we didn't say that. I didn't say that acknowledging this draft class doesn't look like it's deep at all at the top. Like, there's just not much up there. So the difference between 1 and 5 could be you getting out of the premium range. Like, I said it at the time. I was like, I'm not all that upset about it. But at the time, I said you might be getting out of the premium players.
Let's say you want Travis Hunter or whatever, or you got to get up to 2 to get one of these guys, potentially even 3. Maybe you're giving up your second-round pick. So instead of not having 36, you would have somebody else's second, and because they're coming up for a quarterback, probably like you could get 2 seconds.
Sure.
This year, next year.
And you have no pressure to take the quarterback. So it's easy for you to pull the trigger on
and you're like,
stuff,
all right, you know what? Maybe we miss out on Travis Hunter. We get Abdul Carter. Maybe we miss vice versa. Or maybe the Browns take Shedeur Sanders and you have your choice of any player. And you got paid off to do it. What a wonderful.
That's a lot of picking one.
What a wonderful alternative. I know, but wouldn't you rather be sitting there right now controlling things?
I'm not saying that I wouldn't, but that's a lot of picking.
I don't doubt for a second the Giants would trade ahead of Cleveland to get Cam Ward.
Mm-hmm.
If it weren't a quarterback needy team already sitting there at 1, I think that would be one of the big talking points already. Anyway, appreciate everybody who sent those in. So check them out. If you go to @MD_1010XL online, you can see what people put as their top 5 wish list for how the Jags utilize that commodity of the 5th overall pick. With that, let's say hello to Helmets and Heels.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJax.com.
The coolest cats in town.
All right, Taylor Dahl is here. How are you?
Hello, I'm great. Just returning from a little staycation, so
nice.
Yeah,
that's kind.
Yeah, it is.
They really are.
It is, and I think that sometimes because it's nice to go places, but I always feel like I need a vacation after my vacation if I go somewhere.
It's one of 2 things. For either I'm going on a week long, going someplace I've never seen and I'm really sightseeing, or find me at the house.
Yeah.
All right, or on the golf course.
Yes.
But there's enough beautiful courses here. I don't need to drive to North Carolina or anywhere else to go play golf. Or fly, for that matter. Thank you for trying to get me a Jaguar golf bag over the weekend. that's what's called a cart bag, right? Like
Okay.
you can't carry that bag.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's a
that's
heavy
big.
one.
I could tell, unless that thing was totally roached out, which it didn't look like it
No,
from
it
the
looked
outside.
honestly pretty nice.
What do you think that would retail for? What's your guess?
I don't know. I don't know what a normal one would be.
I'm gonna say
my
about
guess would
$250.
Okay.
About
okay.
$250.
I was about to say like $350, but he was when I saw it pop up, I immediately was like, I know somebody would want this bag.
As soon as I saw it immediately, and I'm like, I'll buy it right now. Sight unseen, like here, I got the $100 right now to buy that thing, but somebody beat me to the punch. But if you go to Edwin Watts, I don't think they have a bag much over like maybe $280 in the whole place, and that's with all the bells and whistles and what have you. So
when people go and spend on clubs, which I know can get expensive, it's usually individually, so you're buying that bag, then you have to go and buy all your clubs?
Oh,
or
it's totally
everything?
different. Usually, you buy it depends. Everyone's different. Some people just keep their same irons and woods and buy a new update their driver every few years. But if you want any even basic halfway decent set of irons, you're going to spend a $1,000.
Wow.
Unless you're like just starting out, you want off the rack.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter that much. Anyway,
yeah.
So I don't have many.
Well, sorry. If I see another bag for you, I will immediately text you.
Exactly like that one, though. I would have gotten to a bit. I would have gone $150 on that bag probably, but I didn't want to get into a whole thing because you had somebody coming over to look at it and the whole 9 yards. But I appreciate your help. So what are you getting into today?
Yeah, we are going to ask a question. Actually, we are putting the question out there of who is under more pressure this season right away, Trevor Lawrence or Liam Cohen. And we each kind of have different opinions on this and how to look at it. And also, I think that word pressure can mean different things for different people also. So that's our main kind of, question of the day we are going to get into. So we'll chat about that. We'll chat about some of the NFL rules that we've heard today. One's being tabled, one's being passed. Some changes we'll end up seeing. And then maybe talk some more men's basketball too.
My immediate gut told me Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if I sat here, I could come up with a list of pros and cons
for each.
That's pretty even.
Yeah, same.
So.
And that's pretty much what I did, which obviously we'll get into. But my same thing, initial reaction, and then as I started really thinking about it and being like, okay, let me make this list, it feels pretty even. And like I said, I think also what people think that pressure word actually, what it means to them. And I think everybody can take that a little bit differently.
I just got to know, Cubs have won at least one game, right?
We have. We've won 3.
Just checking.
Yeah.
Just checking. Not everyone
we split
has.
with the Diamondbacks. It's been kind of fun for me because the poor Braves.
It's all good.
The Brewers have just been getting rocked every game, which is really fun for me to watch right now. So you guys are just hitting like crazy.
7:05. See you at TBS tonight versus the Arizona Diamondbacks. Let's go. All right, Taylor, have a great show.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for stopping by. There you go. Helmets and heels on the way for the next couple of hours. We'll see whatever else the final fallout is from the owners' meetings and some of these rule proposals. But I think we found out most of what's going to happen. They kicked the can down the road on a couple of them, and everything else is pretty much settled at this point in time. All right, thanks again for playing along with the Tuesday Top 5 for Tony Smith and Dylan Denmark. I'm Mike Dempsey, back again at it tomorrow from 10 to noon with more Jaguars Today here on 1010XL,